We'll do a formal introduction. And we just want to get to you. You look amazing. You're stunning. I love your pearls, and this is gorgeous.
Well, actually, my parents gave me these pearls on my 18th.
Oh wow!
I mean, they're the real deal.
That's. Do you keep them on or special events?
They special.
Yeah.
So,
Hello.
hi, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
I want to start off with just asking you, what's your name and what brings you to Blanton-Peale tonight?
My name is Chrissy Whitehead, and I am here tonight because I have been so wonderfully rewarded. The positive. What is it? Oh my God. Norman Vincent Peale positive. Nope. Power of positive thinking. The Norman Vincent Peale Award. Let's start over. What do I say about this? Hi. What's your name and why are you at this event?
My name is Kirsten Wrinkle, and I am here because Blanton-Peale is very generously honoring Chrissy Whitehead and me and our production company in My Own Little Corner Productions.
Oh, awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about the production company?
In My Own Little Corner Productions started as two people connecting over a very vulnerable situation, which is mental health. And from there, we created a one-person show, which is Chrissy Whitehead's Story. And we toured across the country. We filmed the show and even made a behind-the-scenes documentary. And our whole mission is to continue engaging in conversations around mental health. So everything we do is centered in that mission. And we have built a beautiful, it's not just a team, it's a family of people who continue to really spread the waves out there so we can reach more people.
That's amazing.
Hi, guys. I want to ask first, what's your names?
My name is Maya.
I'm Josh.
And what brings you guys to Blanton-Peale today?
Well, we first heard about this through Chrissy. She's being honored. We know she works a lot with mental health advocacy, and so we wanted to come here and support her and support her project and kind of spread the word about that.
Beautiful.
What she said, I'm her brother, so.
So first, start out by saying your name.
I am Barbara Meister Cummins. Everybody calls me Bambi.
Amazing. How did you first get involved with Blanton-Peale?
Actually, I just got involved because the new ED, Shauna Aarons Cook, is an old client of mine. She was the number 2 at the Guidance Center of Westchester, which for whom I do work as well.
Wow.
And so when she told me she had this new gig and what this was all about, I read up on it and I said, well, that looks great. And then she said the event was coming up. So I said, I'll come to the event also.
Wow. That's awesome.
My name is Jake Taylor Laughlin.
What brought you to Blanton-Peale today?
Initially, Blanton-Peale was brought to me by my husband, who is the treasurer of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep coming back, A, because I think I have to at this point, and B, because I believe in its mission.
Can you start by just saying your name?
My name's Colin Laughlin.
Awesome. And then how did you find Blanton-Peale?
I was introduced by a friend of my family who's been involved with the organization to potentially join the board. And I love the work that the organization does. So
I want to first start off and ask who I'm here with.
Your father, Odell Fincher Sr.
And what brings you to Blanton-Peale today?
I put this gala together.
Awesome.
David Harris.
What brought you to Blanton-Peale, or how do you know about this institution?
I've been on the board a little over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the former chair of the governance committee.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the executive committee, and now I'm in my last term.
I want to first ask, what's your name?
Kelsana Wade.
Kelsana Way. And what brings you to Blanton-Peale today?
I'm actually one of the board members of Blanton-Peale. I've been on the board for about 3 years now. Time flies. But yeah, so I'm active participant member, and I love the work that they do. I was also attending these events prior to joining the board. So it's great to have a different perspective, but still heavily involved in the whole organization and just the success and mission of the whole organization for its customers, its clients, etc.
My name's Cliff Peale, and I'm privileged to be a board member here at Blanton-Peale, and excited about our gala tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My name is Lauren McGill.
And then what brought you to Blanton-Peale?
Smiley Blanton was my godfather. So I have been hearing about Blanton-Peale for as long as I can remember. And about 10 years ago, I started getting more involved with Blanton-Peale, learning more about it, learning more about its programs. And then a couple of years ago, I went on the board of Blanton-Peale.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
it's really exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
My name is Tim Roberts. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Blanton-Peale.
Firstly, just say your name. We'd love to know.
Liz Allen.
Amazing. And then how did you find out about Blanton-Peale?
Well, my maiden name is Peale.
Oh, wow. So
yes.
you are a relative.
So I'm Elizabeth Peale Allen, and I'm the younger daughter of Norman and Ruth Peale, of their 3 children.
I'm Dr. Shauna Aarons Cook with the Blanton-Peale Institute and Counseling Center.
And what brings you to Blanton-Peale today?
I'm the keynote speaker tonight.
I'm the keynote speaker, and I get to introduce both of our honorees this evening. Okay, hi. So I'm Chrissy Whitehead, and I'm here tonight because I'm being awarded tonight the Power of Positive Thinking Norman Vincent Peale Award. So it's really sweet.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very cool.
What do you routinely do to take care of your mental health?
So I think my mental health probably really pertains to kind of how I move my body and what I choose to do throughout the day. So I find that when I'm stressed or going down a rabbit hole, I always go outside and I take a walk. I try to get 10,000 steps every day, and I find that each step brings me more towards a sense of calm and a sense of peace. And so if I'm moving every day and I'm eating well and I feel well physically, my mind also feels well, and that's usually my goal.
Right.
I really appreciate being in that, outdoors, and taking that breath of fresh air literally gives me a lot when I'm going through it, and exposure to the sun and the wind, and just feeling the natural flow of the earth is something that really grounds me as a person. So I agree with my sister. I'm not as good as her with 10,000 steps a day, but getting outside just for a few steps is something that's really important to me as well.
I have one question to ask you,
Yes.
and that was, what do you do routinely to take care of your mental health?
This is such a good question. Are you
Since
asking?
you won the award.
Are you asking everybody this?
I'm asking you.
Oh, amazing. Well, I do a lot of things, but I would say morning routines are very important to me. Meditation. I also do a lot of journaling and pausing. I do a lot of meditating and pausing and reflection, and I also take medicine, and I also have therapy. So I do a lot of things. I have a lot of things in my toolbox that keeps me going. I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder about 8 years ago, and ever since then, I've gotten on the right medicine to keep my moods stable and being able to thrive in life with a diagnosis. So that's why I'm here. I wrote a show about all of this.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that fun?
It is.
And now they're awarding us, so that's kind of.
Well, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
What's one thing you do that helps your mental health?
I learned not to let stupid people bother me.
Real.
Number one.
It's a good one.
Number one. And I tune out and just step back, take some space for myself, meditate, pray, and that helps me immensely.
That's awesome.
So what types of things do you ask us?
I'm just gonna ask you what brought you to Blanton-Peale, and then has the Gen Z generation taught you anything about mental health that maybe you didn't grow up with?
Okay, tell me which one is the Gen Z.
20.
I am too old. I've lost track of the alphabet.
Gen Z is 27 to 15-year-olds. So the 20-year-olds
down to 15.
Yeah.
Mr. Fincher, I had a question for you. What is one thing that Gen Z has taught you about taking care of your own health?
What they taught me?
What did you learn from Generation Z?
I can say what I've learned from you. You focus on yourself, you take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul, which I'm definitely impressed by. Your generation definitely is unashamed. It's unabashed of trying to pretend to camouflage something that's not who you guys are. Like you're not shameful of saying that you have an issue and you like to talk about it, you like to address it.
So, out of curiosity, do you think the Gen Zs or just the younger generation in general has taught you something about mental health that maybe you didn't grow up with when you were a child?
I think that younger people today, sort of across a couple of those generations, of the alphabet generations, are much more conscious of their mental health. It gets talked about more. I think they can be more protective of the space that they need and things like that. And I think that's a great thing. When I was growing up, it's not something we talked about, although I certainly knew people who were professionally involved in mental health treatment. As a general matter, we didn't talk as openly and as freely about it as people do now. So I think that's a really great change.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
The question was, what is one thing that the young generation has taught you?
Well, they've taught me a lot. I have two kids, both who are young adults, and they've taught me the importance of being happy and being healthy, and always moving forward and confronting challenges. You know, even to the extent that my generation doesn't know. You know, it's hard to be a young adult these days, and they've shown me great resilience and also shown sort of how to deal with the struggle.
Gosh, I learned so much from the younger generation. I think that there's a level of courage that I've seen them have, whether it was asking for help, sharing about difficulties and how they're feeling, sharing resources online, and creating communities, like really innovative online communities. And I find that to be just incredibly powerful.
Right. Did you guys ever think that we see celebrities and or leaders openly talk about depression or mental health?
No, I don't, but I think we're in an era of transparency, and I
Mhm.
think that the more, the more events that go on in the world and the more things touch people, the more they need to talk about them, and I think it's best that this is happening because celebrities and leaders are just like us. They've just chosen to do a certain path, and I think that it's important that we hear from them and we hear their stories of courage, but also of sadness or depression that they may have gone through, and inspire others that to keep on going.
I hope so. I think anytime you have a platform that reaches anyone, it whether you like it or not, you have a responsibility to address the things that are affecting other people in your world, even if you don't have any connection physically with them or any relationship. I think it's your responsibility to.
One of the reasons is that they become successful is that certain celebrities echo feelings that we all have. And I think it's easy to forget that, like my sister said, celebrities are people just like us. And what makes them human is that they human beings who feel the exact same things that we do. So I think, in terms of stardom and, the reason that certain people look up to a celebrity, it might actually stem from the fact that they see something that they are experiencing in their own life. And I think I actually do expect celebrities to be open about these experiences and their struggles with mental health, because I think, in my opinion, the biggest stars understand that they are just people. In order to spread your personality, you have to share who you are. It only helps you grow, both as a celebrity and as a person. So I admire when celebrities are open about mental health struggles, and I personally connect with celebrities more when they do expose themselves in those ways. On the surface, it might be unexpected, but when you look into it a little bit more, I think it's great when celebrities do share about their struggles, and I think that it may be, again, maybe unexpected, but I think it's an amazing thing. So
Do you think it's ever people are like too like celebrities are too open about depression or their mental health, or do you think the transparency is like overall positive?
Oh, I would say that the transparency is positive. I think far more people than we know deal with some measure or at some point in their lives are going to deal with something that we would call a mental health issue. That they can be more or less severe. Sort of recognizing them for what they are is a good thing. And I think it's up to the celebrity whether they want to be
That's true.
sharing
Love
it
that.
or
Freedom of
not.
speech.
So
Thank you.
What do you think of leaders now, famous artists, and or a person of power speaking up about mental health advocacy and or depression, things of that nature?
Oh, I think it's extremely important for anyone with anybody who has a voice and or can get a message out there about mental health issues related to depression or any subject matter related to mental health. I mean, mental health affects so many stages of life, from children, teens, um, late young adults, in middle age to seniors.
Right.
And all of those people are affected in a variety of ways, whether it's a direct incident that could happen in their life, indirectly through their family and or through social media. So mental health affects everyone, no matter who you are, what you look like, what age you are. Anybody is vulnerable to some kind of disruption in their stability.
Right.
Seeing in the world now how there's so many celebrities so open and transparent about mental health, is that something that you think is in a good direction, or do you think people
Oh,
are
I
being
think
too
it's
open?
absolutely in a good direction. And not only will it be helpful and useful for Blanton-Peale, it's a good step in the right direction for the population in general.
I love that. And what does mental health advocacy mean to you personally?
To me, it would mean it's helping people who don't necessarily have access to a psychiatrist or a therapist every day, but need help. And certainly in this day and age, I'm
Yeah.
sure that's tons of people.
Yeah. Is there a reason why specifically you're interested in this subject?
Yes, I mean it has an appeal to me that I mean I think that there are I think a lot of struggles that some people are having currently and in the last I would say 10 years, certainly since the pandemic. People need some sort of assistance in many cases. And if they could get that assistance mentally, they might be able to better cope and not lash out, etc. And again, some sort of advocacy that would take care of people who don't have the money to go to a psychiatrist every week.
Oh, I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
What does mental health advocacy really mean to you?
I think that we, as people throughout our life, have varying degrees of ability to help others. And I think one of our greatest responsibilities in life is to pick up the slack for other people who can't sometimes, whether that's going to be repaid to you or not. And working within advocacy, you can only help yourself if you help other people. If you don't know what to do, be an advocate of something, hopefully something good, make it
Right.
something that's not scary. But being an advocate of anything is going to change your life. And I think if more people did that, then we would live in probably a much kinder world.
Very true.
Is there any reason specifically why you got into mental health advocacy?
Mental health in the state of New York and in the United States generally is such a need. There's such a gap in terms of what services are available and accessible to the general public. And I think uh, the services and the work that Blanton-Peale does is so critical to filling that gap.
That's awesome.
It's important because too many folks who do want to seek out assistance or just someone to listen, someone to understand, to help them understand, whatever they're going through, to have that available or access to such services is very important.
Right.
Sorting out whatever you're going through in life, whether it's the highs or the lows, is something that I value quite a bit, in terms of organizing your thoughts and making sure you understand like how you feel and what is going on, or if there's a traumatic event or just like day-to-day stressors that
Right.
are
Yeah.
happening. It's very important to be able to cope with that and to ensure that you have an understanding, whatever that is to you, and then having that access is something that I think everyone should have.
Having it available.
Exactly. And it's not, unfortunately. So the work that we do to ensure that New York City is able to have that access and meet you wherever you are financially it's very important. It's something that like resonates with me, coming from humble beginnings as well.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is something I'm very excited that I'm able to be in a position to help give back to an organization. I'm obviously not a clinician or anything, but where I can help, I'm very happy that I'm able to do so.
Well, mental health advocacy is important to me because mental health affects every human being on the planet. Everybody in their family to who they're dealing with in society, their coworkers, everywhere. They're dealing with somebody who may be having a mental health issue, even stress related or anything related to what life can give somebody.
Gosh, I think it takes a lot of different forms in the sense of, so all of my staff, for example, I have a responsibility to model good mental health and wellness and take care of myself.
Right.
And make sure that the roles that they have do not cause burnout. And so we implement different strategies. We check in at the beginning of every meeting, whether it's one person or 50. It's like, how are you feeling? And just keeping that self awareness all the time that I might be going through something. And if no one asked me, I would never say it.
Know.
But because
Right.
we ask at the beginning of every meeting, how's everybody feeling? We start to create that community
That
of
safe, that
wellness.
safe environment.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think outside of the workplace, advocacy looks like not being afraid to talk about your feelings. I remember, this is probably a little too personal, but I remember going through a breakup. This was a long time ago, and I started crying. And one of my friends said, "Oh, don't cry." I was like, "No, I have feelings. I'm human. I cared enough,
Mhm.
and now it hurts. And so I want to express these feelings. And when I'm finished crying, I'm going to be fine."
Right.
So that would be the other way.
What does this institution mean to you then?
This institution, established in 1937, it was groundbreaking, certainly then, and we believe still is a groundbreaking organization because it gives people in need of emotional and mental health as well as spiritual undergirding. And that combination is what makes Blanton-Peale unique. Founded by a minister, my dad, and a psychiatrist, an eminent psychiatrist, and in 1937, when it was just almost an impossible concept to have a joining of those two disciplines.
Love that. And if there's one thing you could say to your younger self about mental health, what would you say to your younger self?
My younger self,
If you could help them or guide them with their mental health in any way.
well, I don't have any ministers among my children, but I do have several psychologists and social workers, and they are making a difference in their communities. I just think, we're a strong family. That's a pretty helpful thing too in the area of mental health.
So because that has been so long, when you see how like people treat mental health now in the younger generations, is there anything that you think like you wish you had growing up as a child, or do you think the transparency that goes on is a little like too much?
No, I think that we blocked it. One, we wouldn't admit it. We wouldn't seek help. If you did seek help, it was shame.
Wow.
So now it's much better, but the need is so overwhelming because people are recognizing mental health as something that is just like physical health. You need to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And right now in these times, it's really hard to take care of yourself.
Wow. Yeah, it is. And then if there's like one thing you could tell your younger self that could potentially help with their mental health or something that you've learned along the way, what would that one thing be?
I tend to internalize a lot of things, so I suppose my advice to myself would be to relax. It's not always, usually, not that serious.
So one question we have that I would love to know your answer is if you could tell your younger self one thing that might help their mental health or like help them find hope, what would that one thing you tell your younger self be?
The one thing that I would tell young Kirsten is talk to somebody. Tell somebody what's going on. Don't be alone in your head with all of those, all the pain that goes along with that. I know that as somebody who lives with anxiety and periodic depression and panic attacks, feeling alone in that was just it was misery. And so I would love to go back and tell young preteen Kirsten,
please talk to somebody. Please find anybody, a trusted adult.
Yes. Love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. I love you. I love you too. We can stop recording.